Now, yesterday, Rex Tillerson addressed the rumors that he was thinking about stepping down from his position of Secretary of State. Now, he said that the reports of him doing so were erroneous and that he's just not leaving. I'm not leaving the White House. Don't worry about it. Now, that is apparently much to the chagrin of certain aides in the White House. Now, according to the Daily Beast, 3 aides in the White House were holding out hopes yesterday that Tillerson was going to offer his resignation, and that they wished that he would just leave already. In a perfect world, they said, he would have quit right then and there. Drams. There's more. Now, apparently, a lot of people in Trump's inner circle are not big fans of Rex Tillerson. In fact, the article goes on to mention that, quote, it is a sentiment shared among many senior staff that has been building for months, and it underscores the incredibly harsh and complex political reality in which the Secretary of State currently operates. Tillerson struggled in his tenure at Foggy Bottom, doesn't have many fans in Trump's inner circle, and has been widely viewed with skepticism among Trump's loyalists. Can I just stop there and just mention Foggy Bottom? Really? I know, I'm a child. Oh. Now, one White House official said people in the White House who are loyal to the president thinks Rex Tillerson hates Trump. Now, look, even in the outside, because we don't know necessarily the conversations going inside, all we can do is rely on some of these anonymous reports, right? But from what we can tell is that, yeah, there is no secret that they haven't gotten along, okay? Now, the biggest point of contention was when Trump did a highly inappropriate speech to the Boy Scouts. It was very campaign-like. They're like, oh, lock her up, you know, very, very campaign speech-like to a group of Boy Scouts. It was ridiculous. Now, Tillerson was reportedly furious about that. Other reports said that he had called Trump a fucking moron and that Mike Pence had to step in to keep Tillerson on the job, as well as James Mattis and John Kelly. Now, also, he had questioned that whether or not the UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, is actually useful in the administration. Like, what is she doing as my ambassador? She's terrible at it. She's useless. Okay. Now, later in the day, spokespeople for Tillerson and Pence, of course, had refuted these points, but other news outlets later on confirmed their veracity, and some details have been rumored for months. According to 5 senior Trump administration officials, current and former, speaking to the Daily Beast on the condition of anonymity, it had been gossip within the White House that Tillerson had called Trump a fucking moron or an idiot during an official meeting over the summer. Trump found out about that, was not happy, but then tweeted repeatedly that it was a, quote, fake story, and repeated the claim during a stop in Las Vegas to visit the site of the country's deadliest mass shooting. So that's funny in itself, right? So he goes to the site of the Las Vegas massacre. 59 people were killed, over 500 injured by, gunshots from somebody who was apparently a pissed off millionaire for whatever reason that had, legal mods on his weapons, turning a semi-automatic rifle into at least a gun that would actually fire a bit more like an automatic weapon. And he's there just saying, no, fake news, Rex Tillerson. Like, no, you've got more important things to worry about. But anyway, now, despite all this, Tillerson is still there. Why? Well, I talked about it before. It's likely that if he goes, Mattis goes, and then so does Mnuchin. They do not want to go, so it seems like Rex Tillerson is kind of sticking it out for his friends. Now, as for where Trump is concerned, he also doesn't want Tillerson to go because that looks bad in his administration. He's already had so much turnover, and also he would have all sorts of negative news coverage over the departure of Tillerson, especially so soon after the departure of Tom Price over the airplane fare scandal. Now, not only that, but Republicans in the Senate have pretty much all but begged Donald Trump to keep Rex Tillerson on board. In fact, you have Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Corker saying, quote, "I think Secretary Tillerson, Secretary James Mattis, and Chief of Staff John Kelly are those people that help separate our country from chaos." I support them very much. I have no doubt that you do. But, look, as far as Tillerson goes, I don't think he even likes the job. It's been reported that Tillerson is not a very comfortable person in Washington. He's not comfortable with the way it is. The guy's used to running a corporation from the top down. Like, oh, I give the order and everybody does what I say. I love that situation. Well, now he gets to Washington. You've got competing centers of power, disorganization, backstabbing, fighting within the administration, within all these different groups and people jockeying for power. So that's something that he's not used to, and apparently he gets incredibly frustrated about how it all works or doesn't work. And of course, like anybody else would be, he's been growing increasingly frustrated with his diplomatic efforts being constantly undercut by President Trump via sometimes some very poorly worded tweets. For example, those tweets on his diplomatic efforts in North Korea, where he's like, hey, we've been talking for Kim Jong-un, Rocket Man, for 30 years. That's not true. Kim Jong-un was not running the country for 30 years. He's not even 30 years old. Or he's apparently 30 years old. Look, he's wrong on that, of course. But he says that, oh, yeah, we've been talking with Rocket Man for 30 years. And it's just not working, and so it's a waste of time. Waste of time. Ugh. Not only that, but as I said before, Tillerson is not a fan of Steve Bannon. Bannon is not a fan of him. Who do you think leaked this stuff? I have a very strong suspicion that this moron tweet, or not tweet, but this moron statement was leaked by Steve Bannon. Who else is going to go after members of the administration that they don't like? Now, not only that, but you have people that are still loyal to Bannon that are in the White House. For example, you've got Stephen Miller and a lot of other aides and staffers that are in the White House still currently. Now, not only that, but as Chief of Staff Margaret Peterlin and spokesman R.C. Hammond had also caused a fair amount of frustration, they said, inside the White House, according to the former Trump administration official. Now, he also says widespread antipathy to Tillerson in the West Wing represents a, quote, rapid deterioration of his relationship with the White House. Just months ago, Rex was the cabinet official you most often saw on public scheduled meetings with the president. And now, of course, that has changed as the relationship has soured. So, look, there is still talk about a possible Rexit. But as I've talked about it before, if he goes, then Mnuchin goes, and then Mattis goes. Still, even with that, there are people out there that are still expecting an exit. Now, I'm hearing rumors up to, 2018. And here's one former senior official kind of adding to that, saying, quote, Tillerson has no help, no team, no natural allies, and he's not hiring anyone. There's a kind of death spiral. Can't really argue with that. That does look really bad. Like anything in this administration, this is an unsustainable situation. I do not see how Tillerson survives the full term, while so many others have not. We'll see. If they try to get tax cuts through, and either they win on the tax cut issue, or they don't win on the tax cut issue, and Mnuchin and or Mattis decides, okay, we've had enough. We failed on the tax cut issue. Time to cut loose. Or if Mueller continues to close in and actually presents a very compelling case against Donald Trump, you could also see a lot of people starting to pull the chute on that. But we'll, of course, have to see in the future, as with anything. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.